What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Adventures of Mark, Finn, and Brent here on Monday night. We're going to see what we got coming up this week, so let's get started. All right, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot, and hit that notification bell so you know when we have new videos coming up in the future. And be sure to check them out because when we hit 50 subscribers, which we're really close to, we're going to be doing a giveaway. And we picked up a pretty cool book last week to do for it. There's a lot of hype around Peach Momoko, so we grabbed that Speed Metal Peach Momoko 1 in 25 variant. So we're going to be doing that giveaway and making that announcement shortly after we hit that 50 subscriber mark. So check it out.
Very cool. Yeah, definitely. And we are going to jump into the new releases coming out this week that Mark and I are going to be picking up. In the future, we'll probably, see what else you guys might like for us to check out and kind of review, talk about on the channel. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Three Jokers. This is a story that's been almost, 5 years in the making at this point. Cool Geoff Johns Easter eggs all throughout Darkside War and stuff like that. This is number 2, and judging by the cover B or variant, however you want to do it, it's going to be sort of a Batgirl-centric story, much like issue 1 was kind of centered a little more around Jason Todd, Red Hood type of stuff. Really excited about it. Tons of really cool Joker variants coming out. I didn't read it, but I did see there was a leak of a Three Jokers moment per se, and you can see there that they have color variants, the 1 in 25s that Mark and I have also. Really excited about this story. The artwork is great. Geoff Johns' writing is always pretty top notch. I've actually got kind of sneaking this in there real quick too. I've got Batman Earth 1 Volume 2 coming in the mail this week, so I'll be able to finally catch up on that myself. Pretty excited.
Yeah, that Earth 1 series has been fantastic across the board.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like just judging from the trailer for the Batman, there's definitely elements from that Volume 2 that I kind of felt when I watched that trailer, with like the Riddler and Penguin being key players in it and being real grounded in reality. I really enjoyed it. And there seems to be a lot of cool Batman stuff coming up this week. There's a second book on the definite get list is the one-shot that they're doing, the Joker Warzone one-shot. And I guess it's just adding more filler in for the story. There's supposed to be some big implications going on with these books coming up to the end of the Joker War here. And they're doing a cover A and a really cool cover B. You got Spoiler and Orphan on the cover there with Clown Hunter. So I'm looking forward to that one. The whole story's been awesome. It's just been escalating and escalating. And that last issue for Batman 99, it was the icing on the cake with Joker and Batman's new tech suit that was built for him. So I'm excited to see how that fight plays out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and kind of just jumping on the bandwagon with that one myself and got issue 99. Definitely looking forward to 100 myself. Next up on the list is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 54. Mark and I are huge fans of the series, of course, being kids of the 90s, grew up on Mighty Morphin. I really like the foil variant they're going to have there with the Chaos Crystal. Seems like there's going to be a pretty big villain introduced in this one called Imperial. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Yes, Imperial. They're just trying to be fancy.
Yeah, it very well could be. I just don't know how to read. We kind of discussed like off channel, whether or not this villain may carry over into the series split when it splits into Mighty Morphin as one series and Power Rangers as another. Nothing really to go on this except for the cover 55, but I think that they may be introducing the new Green Ranger at the end of this issue or at some point in this issue. But it does look like it's Omega Ranger centric as well. So really looking forward to that, and the final issue looks to be number 55 in October, whenever they finally do the title split.
Yeah, it's starting to look like they're going to do something kind of like Lost, early seasons of Lost, where one issue you follow the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team, and then they're switching over to follow the Omega Rangers, because when we left off, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team was neck deep in the Dark Ranger stuff going on, and now we have a total shift and an introduction of this Legion-like character that intros himself as "We Are Imperial" or Imperial, and I thought it was kind of weird that they spelt it kind of similar to how the Marvel event was just done.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was like, I don't know if this is the correct pronunciation of that or what. But yeah, it looks really excited for that issue or for that series to continue and kind of split on. Even after the split, it seems like that the two titles are going to be kind of very close and paralleling each other, because I know one of the descriptions talks about for Power Rangers how Zordon is kind of forbidding the Omega Rangers to kind of implement Drakon into their team as well. Don't want to go too far into that. I don't know who's speed on that or anything. But yeah, really looking to the new issue.
Next up on our list, number 4, and this is one that I've always excited to have on my list whenever it's coming out, is the new Immortal Hulk. And this is not one of the issues in the ongoing title, but the third one-shot that this series has done. And it has a regular cover A, and then Bennett's doing a cover B. And again, it's a third one-shot that they've done. They had an Absolute Carnage tie-in one-shot, and then they had the one-shot with Great Power, and they both were really fantastic. And you kind of had some very subtle but very big implication things that they kind of focused on. And I'm excited to see what they do with this one. The Immortal Hulk series has been good from day one. It continues to deliver, and it has just added so much to the Hulk mythos, to the point now that they even introed She-Hulk to have the immortal side to her, which all the Gamma characters do, but they just started focusing on her with the end of Empire issue 6. And that one shot came out last week for the Immortal She-Hulk, and it was a really, really good issue. If you didn't get a chance to pick it up last week, I definitely suggest going back and grabbing it. There's a really low-key conversation with her and Logan that happens. It was just amazing, just about death and resurrection, and it kind of gives you a good little inside look on Wolverine as well. And all these one-shots have been great like that, giving you kind of a flashlight into the inner workings of a character other than the Hulk and how they're affected by the Hulk's life. So if you haven't been reading Immortal Hulk, go pick up the trades, get caught up. In the meantime, start grabbing the new ones off the shelf so they'll be ready for you when you get there.
Yeah, one thing I thought was really cool is they're kind of building up to the actual reveal of the Devil Hulk. I don't know if you've seen the actual picture that they released.
No, he's been revealed. He's just imprisoned right now by the leader.
Yeah. Well, the picture that I saw, it showed him in that like prison type suit.
Yeah, big metal. He's chained up underneath in the place below hell.
Yeah, and he he had sort of a reptilian look to him, which I thought was pretty cool, a little different.
And even in the Absolute Carnage one shot they did when the symbiote tried to bond with Banner, it couldn't just bond with him because of the power of the Hulk. It wasn't able to just link up with him. And they've done really good job going back into Peter David's run with all this split personality stuff and dissociated personality disorder, where you get to spend a lot of time inside Banner's head and you get to see all of the Hulks. The way that they look in reality is not the way that they look inside Banner's head. So the Devil Hulk has always been that reptilian look when you're inside Banner's head. Joe Fixit, the Gray Hulk, looks like a person inside of his head. He doesn't even, it's not even represented by a Hulk. But even in that Absolute Carnage one shot, when all of the personalities were having a table discussion if they should give the symbiote the permission to bond with him, the Devil Hulk's just pacing in the background, not having any of it, not wanting to do nothing with it, just sitting it out. But the leader's just been smart. He's he's always been smart, but this is a really intricate, really, really big plan that he's got going on right now that is crossed over into the Immortal She-Hulk issue, that crossed over into that issue 0 that they did, that they went back and pulled 2 of Peter David's classic stories and brought it into it and everything, and is involving his dad, and he's intentionally got the Devil Hulk out of play because that's something that's too big of a wild card for him. He's even found a way to shut the green door off. It was represented in the past issue with he was spinning the green door and it turned it red. So I didn't know if there was going to be this Red Hulk introduction again or a reintroduction, or if they were going to get Thunderbolt Ross in here somehow. But they just revealed it in the She-Hulk book last week that with it turning red, it was basically just, I guess, a visual representation of green means go, red means stop. It's him shutting off your doorway, so you're no longer immortal. So he told Jen in the last issue, he's sitting there messing with her when they were below all, and he closes her door right before she goes back up and says, "Don't die," because she became immortal, and he has taken it away from her. Whether it's permanent or not is yet to be seen, but looking forward to finding out.
Yeah, I remember when that one shot came out with symbiote and everything, you were reading Mortal Hulk at that time and I wasn't, and I was reading Absolute Carnage, and you were telling me about
and
that one shot, that whole conversation. I was like, dude, that whole in Absolute Carnage, he symbiote touched him and 2 seconds later he was gone. So that whole conversation of whether or not the Hulk, wanted to give the symbiote permission happened within 2 seconds inside Banner's head. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It happens fast.
Next, for sure. List we have for me Hellblazer number 10 from the Sandman universe kind of imprint of DC. Very excited about this. The whole series, they've kind of been building up to this confrontation of John meeting his older self. In the very beginning of the series, you see John kind of in this basically end of the world scenario where he actually sacrifices his best friend Chaz just to buy himself a few extra minutes, which is very Constantine thing to do. And he's actually dying, and this old man shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I can save you and bring you somewhere else, but it's going to cost you your soul." And again, Constantine's like, "Okay, whatever. It's not worth anything anyways." So he ends up in present day London, which I'm guessing the apocalyptic portion of it happened back in the 70s or 80s with a younger Constantine, because they aged him in real time in the Vertigo series over the course of 30 years. Or however long it was. So the series itself is coming to a conclusion with issue 2, and with obviously on the cover you see John facing an old man, which is the actual old version of him. And I'm looking forward to it. Very sad that Hellblazer is coming to an end. He's one of my favorite characters, DC or otherwise. So yeah, which is actually pretty funny because too they just killed John in the Justice League Dark series with whatever they've got going on over there. I don't pick that title up regularly, but in 26, I believe it was, they had killed him. So it seems. That's why I put it in air quotes. Yeah, it was issue 26. So yeah, really looking forward to that, and not necessarily from a story standpoint, just more of the cover art collector in me. I'm going to be grabbing a couple issues of Spawn 310 as well. You've got the Francesco Mattina Gunslinger cover there on the right. I believe that's the cover A. And then on the left there, you have the McFarlane variant of that sort of samurai ninja looking Spawn, which is pretty awesome. Again, I don't really read the series, so this is kind of the first time I've seen that one. I think it's just a really cool image. So I'll, again, from the collector aspect, I'll be grabbing that as well. So
I really like that center cover though, that realism and that paint work, man, that's fantastic. And I always love that
definitely,
classic
yeah,
outrageous spawns with bullets slung over them and the outrageous Lee-Field classic McFarlane style weaponry that's just straight overkill. I love it.
yeah. He needs more pouches.
Yeah, more pouches. No one
Yeah,
ever got mad about not having enough pouches. And the
right.
last book on our list is definitely the one I'm the most excited about for multiple reasons. For one, it's just the next death metal book. We have
Oh
Dark
yeah,
Knight's Death Metal Multiverses End one shot. And I'm very excited to get the next little chapter in the multiverse. I mean, in the death metal stuff. I'm really pumped that they're going with the multiverses end. I love all the aspects to it. If you just look at this cover alone, you got Captain Carrot sharing a cover with Stan Lee's Wonder Woman from the Just Imagine series when he redid the DC characters, which was an awesome, awesome series. And they just started recollecting those volumes a few months back before COVID happened. Volume 1 was re-released, and it's got some extra special features in it, like artists and writers that worked with Stan writing letters in each individual issue about how their experience was. So check that out if you get a chance. But you have Val Zod Superman, you have Uncle Sam. Right under Val Zod, you have the Green Lantern from the Tangent universe. Below her, you have the Flash from Kingdom Come, which is Wally's daughter. In the bottom right, that's actually Owlman. Looks like he's drawn in a almost a Kirby-esque fashion, as well as the I don't know if they're on a ship or if they're on one of the tuning forks or what, but just the
oh yeah.
mechanics and the engineering to that structure is very Kirby-esque in my mind as well. And I don't know why, but I'm having a brain fart. But that Batman that's hanging on to the back end of it is that Batman from the first Elseworlds book that they did, where he was the vampire. Red
Oh
Rain, I
yeah,
think, was the
yeah,
name of it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I think
remember
that's what it's
when I
called.
worked at the comic shop in high school, that was one of the first books that the manager there at the time told me to read because we were talking about Kingdom Come and Elseworld stuff, and he was telling me about how that one was the one that kicked off that labeling. But I'm super stoked about this, and Captain Carrot's really cool. And I think the last time I saw him anything big DC was in Convergence when him and Harley fought, and it was very sad, but she killed him, poisoned him with one of his own carrots. They went at it and had a really good brawl. And they decided that enough was enough. And they just sat there and started talking and bonding. And she was just hanging out. And he's just eating carrots. And he just starts getting sick, chokes, and dies from where she poisoned him. But I'm stoked to read this. I'm thinking about grabbing the 1 in 25 variant just because it's fantastic. You've got Captain Carrot there, dead center with all of his buddies from his own world there. It looks like they're dead around him. It's just a really cool moment. The artwork on it's great. He's a cool character. Love those little analog characters like that. It's really cool.
Definitely. Yeah, the premise for the whole thing is really cool. I'm excited to kind of see all the other universes' reaction to Perpetua kind of destroying their universes and their attempt to fight back against her. It's going to be pretty interesting.
It's kind of a Crisis on Infinite Earths feels, that issue 1 where you're just
Yeah,
universe
definitely.
hopping, just watching them all get decimated. I
Yeah.
don't think I've
Speaking of
ever
Elseworlds
seen as
title, I think.
ragtag of a team.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's sort of I feel like it's going to kind of be like a everybody pulls together type of thing to perpetuate how that goes. But the old stuff, I believe this week, since you mentioned that, I think Gotham by Gaslight is actually getting a hardcover edition or a special edition
Nice.
either this week or next. I'm pretty sure it's this week. Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier, but when you said Elseworlds, I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be cool. I actually just picked up that issue for the first time a month or two ago. It's in really good condition, so I didn't want to like crack it open and put any like creases on it or anything like that because it's one of those like thicker square bound books. So I'm just going to kind
DC did
of,
a great job
it's a cool thing to
transferring
have.
that one into the movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And of course too, like I just like that the with any story, DC, Marvel, or otherwise, just kind of like a cool twist on reality type of thing. Sort of inserting like the Jack the Ripper mythology into like kind of combining that with DC lore and all that stuff. And there was this series that came out a few years ago called Lady Killer from Dark Horse, written and drawn by Joel Jones. That's really awesome. It's just sort of like this 60s housewife that like sells Avon and stuff like that, but it's all really just a cover for her mercenary job. It's really cool. She's an assassin, hence the name Lady
Nice.
Killer. Yeah, really cool.
So those are pretty
those
much
twists
the
on
big books
reality
that we
stories.
plan on picking up. I'm sorry, that lag just got me.
No, you're good. Yeah.
I was going to say that those are pretty much the big books that we're looking forward to picking up this week. There's a couple honorable mentions I think are worth just going over, but Avengers number 36 is coming out. Fantastic Four 24, Strange Academy number 3, Wonder Woman 763, as well as a Wonder Woman 1984 movie tie-in book, just a prequel book. And then Red Hood Outlaw number 49 is coming out, and I believe that series is about to be coming to an end as well. Those are my honorable mentions of the week.
Yeah, one thing I know I'm going to be picking up, I know you're kind of on the fence on it, but the Alex Ross Timeless variants, this is going to be a really big week for those. I think there's at the very least 5 or 6. Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 variants coming out this week as far as that goes. Again, like we're huge Alex Ross fans. I'm sure we'll mention that a million more times in future videos and stuff like that.
Hence the background tonight. We weren't about to go through each individual cover, so we just hit you with a good background.
There you go. Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed it, but even on the actual full picture that he drew, the characters that were on the last 1 per store variant do not appear in the segments they do on the actual picture. They pulled Shang-Chi, they pulled Spider-Man, they pulled Black Widow, Iceman, and they put them together for that. They didn't. I in my mind, I thought they just sectioned off a piece of the actual painting that included everybody, but they didn't. They photocropped each individual specific character somehow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm thinking that he did like each individual like character study of each one, and now they're just kind of photoshopping them in different aspects of like you said, you had like our background. It's the entire mural, if you will. But then the 1 per store, it's kind of like picking and choosing and pulling different ones here and there.
And I know that there was a couple of shops that were offering the pre-sale of the Timeless variants, and I did not see a single shop that included the actual list of them. It's like they just had a chunk of them, because even with our background, I have it cropped. That is in no way, shape, fashion, or form the entirety of the picture. There's a lot of it off on both sides right now that you can't see. Now I'm thinking, I wonder if I can pull the entirety of the picture in. Let me see if I can even pull that up real quick. I think I have it right here.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them, man. Yeah, let's see.
If this for sure, yeah.
Thing. Yeah, nope, it's not pulling the whole thing. It can't fit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like Mark mentioned, those are the main books that we're going to be picking up this week. Kind of get some crowd participation going, in the comments. Let us know what you guys are going to be picking up this week, and we can get a discussion going. There you go, yeah.
And that Ghost Rider's coming out this week as well. So we're missing like 6 characters on each side of this at least.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like you can't even see his Silver Surfer hardly, but you can see his board sticking up there on the left.
Oh yeah. It's like, hey
Yeah,
guys.
that's gorgeous piece of art right there.
Yeah, I know myself. A couple of them that I'm looking forward to a little more is the Daredevil one. Only also because the Silver Surfer's already come to love the way Alex Ross draws the Silver Surfer. Even in the series, that cover that he did of him is like Johnny Storm flying at him, and the reflection of the Human Torch and the Silver Surfer is really awesome. But
I
the
don't
two
know
I'm
how
looking
he
forward
does
to
it.
the most now is going to be, yeah, it's insane. He like to have that reflection in the Silver Surfer, but also be able to show all his facial features and all that stuff without distorting it. The dude is he's a genius, man. But the I'm really looking forward to Daredevil. That one, I really like the old school way he draws Daredevil, and the Wolverine variant that he does also because my favorite Wolverine suit is the Frank Miller suit, and I just really like that the way he draws that, and he did that the variant for the Wolverine #1 a couple months ago, and of Wolverine just like in a swamp or a forest or jungle or something like that, and that one was really awesome. I was glad to have been able to pick that one up too.
Yeah, I definitely am looking forward to the Wolverine one because that's, as you said, that's the coolest suit that he's ever had. I
Yeah,
love the brown on him. It seems more animalistic to me. Like he's not telegraphing. It's a good color pattern for that kind of character. You don't see
definitely.
brown and pale orange on a lot of characters, especially the ones that it works so perfectly for. But I'm stoked for
Yeah,
that one. I'm also stoked for the Ghost Rider one and the Ben
yeah,
Grimm one. He does that intricate detail of the rock on Ben Grimm, and again with his style of going pure classic with characters. Yeah,
yeah.
that Ghost Rider is awesome. I love that OG suit with the blue line work on it. I mean, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'm really hoping once Marvel and Disney implement Wolverine into the MCU, they go with the old school Frank Miller suit. That would be amazing.
It would be. So, in other stuff that we got going on this week, we've had a few big announcements this past week due to schedule complications. We weren't able to really do an at weeks in video this past weekend, so we kind of wanted to go over what's happening in the live action world of comics. There were two real big announcements and not necessarily reveals, but you had the Hellstrom first trailer got announced, the Hulu original. It doesn't have the Marvel banner on it. It's not going to be intertwined with the other stuff as of now, it looks like. But that first trailer came out and it didn't look bad. It doesn't have me too hyped up or anything like that. Tom Austin's going to be playing Damien Hellstrom. So I'm excited to see what they do. In my mind, I believe he definitely came first, but he's just the Marvel's version of Constantine in my mind, and I'm
Yeah,
more than happy with Constantine. I get that I get what I need from that kind of character in spades from Constantine, but
for
I'm not
sure.
sure if I'll even watch this one. I might check it out. There's a lot of other stuff that I like to watch that kind of dominates my time. With definitely Lovecraft Country being the #1 show recommendation I'd give anybody right now.
I need to catch up on that one myself.
You planning on watching Hellstrom as it
Yeah, yeah,
premieres?
for sure. I've got I do have Hulu, so that will be something that we can talk about review wise once it starts to come out.
I didn't even think
Um,
about that. That's like the one streaming service that I don't have. So I
yeah,
won't
it's
even
got
have it
some good stuff
available
on
to
it.
me.
It's got some good stuff on it, man. The Stephen King series 11/22/63 was awesome. I will say
Is that
some of
like
the
1408?
uh no no. Um,
1408 was good, but now I'm wondering why it has so many numbers in his titles.
yeah. Obviously that one has to do with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Um,
Okay.
but some time travel involved in it. James Franco was the lead and did a phenomenal job with it.
Oh, is this a couple years old?
Yeah. Yeah, it was really
I
good.
know what you're talking about. Now, I know Franco stuff. I like me some Franco.
Yeah, I think, man, again, another like sort of the twist on reality / history stuff that is just kind of my niche. And the whole series is pretty much basically this guy convinces him to go back in time to try to thwart the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and kind of really showcases the implications of time travel and the butterfly effect and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Nice. So what's
Yeah.
the big live action news for this week, Brent?
So the big one came out. They dropped the trailer. It's been delayed because of the COVID stuff. Is WandaVision going to be premiering on Disney Plus? Of course, you have Elizabeth Olsen playing Scarlet Witch and Paul Bettany reprising his role as Vision, which really brings up a lot of questions because obviously, for spoilers for the 3 people that didn't see Infinity War, Vision Vision was killed by Thanos in Infinity War to get the Soul Stone, which just that statement in and of itself brings up A, how is Vision alive, and B, why does he still have the Soul Stone?
Or C, is Vision alive? Because that clip from the trailer with Catherine Hahn, she straight asked him a question, and he asked her why, and she said, "Because you're dead."
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk as how this is actually going to tie into the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie, which is again, a very Marvel thing to keep everything in continuity and kind of together and stuff like that. So that's going to be very cool. It's got a very cool, like, Pleasantville vibe to it as far as like adopting a lot of old school sitcom type of tones with it as well. I know one of the previous trailers sort of teased the twins that Wanda and Vision actually have. And speaking of Catherine Hahn's character in the twins, there's a lot of speculation that she is going to be playing Agatha Harkness, which is sort of a mentor-ish role for Wanda and her kind of really getting a hold of her powers and stuff like that. And apparently she is also responsible for the creation of what are the Wiccan, and what's the other kid's name? I can't remember what it is.
Young Avenger Wiccan?
Yeah, because Wiccan is apparently is Wanda's kid or something like that, right? Wanda and Vision's kid.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I
I could be talking out of my behind on that one. But yeah, there was a kind of a teaser in one of the trailers released a few months ago with, a couple of cribs and some pacifiers kind of floating in the air and stuff like that. But I think it's kind of cool. They actually, in a small way, which they'd probably never keep long term in the movies or the TV shows, that you see Wanda in her traditional Scarlet Witch outfit, and then you see, yeah, there you go. Then you see Vision in his like first appearance outfit as well. And I think it's kind of cool how they have that, like, the offset gem on his forehead where the Soul Stone would normally be. So yeah, really looking forward to that one myself.
I think they were dressed up for Halloween or something. It looked like they were out with trick-or-treaters walking around in the background. Vision was walking down the street.
Yeah. Marvel always does a really good job as to paying homage to a lot of the original
That's a trademark word, by the way.
Yeah, I want a quarter every time you guys use it.
Homage.
But yeah, So for people who haven't seen previous videos, when we say homage, we're talking about an homage or a homage. Mark and I have had a few debates on how that's actually pronounced, so I just stuck with homage because A, I know it's completely incorrect, and B, it's something that we can both agree on. So,
and now it is absolutely correct.
yeah. In my mind, it's the
The
only way to
only
use that
way
word.
to say it now.
Yeah. Yeah, but Marvel does a really good job in all their movies, kind of doing that with like kind of showcasing the original or older versions of their characters, which I really like. So yeah, I'm a bit of a
I'm
nostalgia
excited
freak
about
when it comes to
the
that
way
stuff.
that it looked, because we talked
Yeah,
about this a whole lot, is how when Marvel Cinematic Universe started, every hero had their own tone and style to their films, very much like the comics. And after
yeah,
some of the box office successes and not as big successes, numbers started rolling in. It's like the higher ups were able to make a judgment call, rightfully so, for that kind of medium, the movie industry, and they started kind of moving their underperforming movies, which all of them perform great, but compared to each other, their lower performing movies to the style and tone of their high performing movies. So you had,
yeah,
which is a straight espionage style thing. You had, there was just a modern day action movie. You had, or it was heavy on sword and sorcery style. And then you had Guardians come. There was just a huge sleeper hit, and the Russo brothers take over Marvel. So everything after Guardians and Civil War, it all looked like it came off the same assembly line. It was, even Ragnarok, they turned Thor into a comedy joke character. They crapped on good story content just to push out something, and then they color palette it to make it look like Guardians. And people loved it. I personally, I had fun watching it. I enjoyed it, but it was my least favorite Thor movie by far because it just wasn't Thor. Did I laugh more? Of course. Did I enjoy seeing the fight? Sure, but you're not telling me with flashy lights and an amazing classic rock soundtrack. I love all those things, but that doesn't equal Thor.
right.
So as soon as we saw this trailer, that was one of the first things that Brent and I spoke about that we were really excited about, because it looks like this show is kind of breaking away from that model that they've been working with successfully for a while. And Brent made a comment to me how good it is that they're actually kind of coming out the gate with this pre-Endgame or post-Endgame here, because going forward, you can't just keep repeating that same model because it's going to wear out, and they know it's going to wear out. So it looks like they're trying to find their own style and their own tone in the show and make it own. DC is doing a great job with that, with a Arrowverse on the shelf. You'll never hear me discuss Arrowverse, but DC TV shows are doing a great job with that, with Doom Patrol being the best example. That is the most original style tone show I've ever seen in the superhero genre by far. And then you have the Titans, which, like it or not, it's got its own just baseline superhero street level grit to it. And you had Swamp Thing that had that dark horror aspect to it. Then you have Stargirl, which is supposed to be more poppy and kind of throwbackish, and they all work well on their own or together because they represent the tone of the show, the style of it, the pacing of it, even down to the actors they picked, with Luke Wilson being Stripes. Like, it all fits the tone of the characters in the books. The books are translating to screen smoothly. So I like to see the fact that they're going with the same. It looks like they're taking a page out of that book and they're seeing how it fits in their content. And I'm really excited to see about that, because I remember as soon as as soon as I went and saw Far From Home, I was actually in St. Simon Island, and I went and saw it on the island. Me, my wife, and my oldest daughter went, and as soon as I got out of it, I immediately went and watched the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man, because I just had to get my mind out of the MCU. They're just forcing so much to be a certain way in a certain tone, and I'm just beat up by it. Like, they're good movies, they're well done, they're well acted, but for some reason I'm no longer feeling drawn to them, and I'm excited to be drawn to them again because I enjoy these characters. I like to get pumped for these things, and I like to come out of them more excited than before.
Yeah, I think moving forward for the MCU, you're going to see a lot more of them produce the television shows for the Disney Plus platform because, um, like we mentioned before, they're gonna like after Endgame, they've got to change some stuff up. You know, you have WandaVision coming out on Disney Plus. Then you're gonna have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm pretty sure Blade is gonna be a TV series. It's not just gonna be a movie.
They just announced the Nick Fury television show for Disney Plus as well this past week.
Yeah, which I'm actually looking forward to. Not
Oh,
necessarily just the Nick
absolutely.
Fury thing, but the whole premise of making the television shows because you're going to get a more fleshed out story that's still interconnected to the wider MCU and be able to really take their time with it. I know I've talked to you about it millions of times before, but Daredevil on Netflix is probably the best superhero TV show that's ever been produced,
I
Marvel or
loved it.
DC. Yeah, the quality. I'm really hoping they bring Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. I know there's been talk
I'd
about
like them to
bringing him
keep
into
Vincent
the.
D'Onofrio as Kingpin.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, if they do the Charlie Cox route, then there's no way they're gonna be able to stray away from bringing him back as Kingpin. I'm really hoping that they do implement him into into the next Spider-Man movie that's been talked about, or I can't even think of the word, but yeah, there's been talk of him coming back as Matt Murdock in the Spider-Man movie, sort of representing Peter Parker as his lawyer after the whole Mysterio J. Jonah Jameson thing in the post-credit scene for Far From Home.
What were your
So
thoughts when they turned J. Jonah Jameson into an analog for Alex Jones from InfoWars?
I mean, as a fan, I was really happy to just see J.K. Simmons back as Jonah. But
You don't feel like that was them just throwing the wool over your eyes to see what they just did to that character? They just
uh,
totally character assassinated him on the silver screen, but they thought that they would just piss in your pocket till it's raining by getting the actor you wanted to play him.
well, I did read an article recently where J.K. Simmons was talking about like the terms of him coming back as Jameson and everything like that, how they sort of tried to modernize the Bugle type of thing. But I mean, I don't really feel like it was too far off of the Jonah character as far as like trying to splash Spider-Man's name through the mud and everything like that. But it was also said by Simmons that we more than likely haven't seen the last of Jameson. So that'll be kind of cool to see, a little bit more of that
They
character
rein him in a little
outside of
bit.
like what's that?
They rein him in a little bit because the way that they presented him and represented how familiar you are with Alex Jones' show InfoWars, banned off numerous platforms for spreading misinformation and outrageous conspiracy stuff, whether it's true or not. Even want to get into all that crazy crap, but
Yeah,
he's a widely discredited, highly controversial figure. It almost felt like on a level they're taking a low-key political shot. And we've had that
yeah.
talk too. And I definitely think that politics are often present in comics as far
Oh,
back
for
as they
sure.
go. But there's a difference between representing politics smoothly and present in the comic universe versus just taking something out of the real world and repainting it or just redressing it in film. And I
Yeah. Well, I
like
mean, it
it
was,
when they be a little slicker with it.
yeah. Well, character-wise, I kind of, again, I don't feel like it was too far off of like Jameson pretty much taking any opportunity he can to drag Spider-Man through the mud, much like they sort of did with the Venom thing. Like, oh, Spider-Man robbed a bank when he really didn't, or whatever. With the whole Eddie Brock thing.
Yeah.
Um, just kind of making it look
Yeah, him
like
coming
he
out
did
him
it.
was definitely in character.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm aware of. Big live action news that came out this past week. I'm definitely excited to see what's going to be rolling out. Of course, Wonder Woman got delayed till December this past month. I think
Yeah.
that's where it stands now. It's getting pushed back.
Yeah, I think they have
I think
the
that'll be the
release date
next time I
is
attempt to go
Christmas.
to a theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been tempted to go see Tenet, but
Now, me and Malcolm were uh, FaceTime just a little bit ago, and dude, he's been. I talked to him about once a week, and that's all he's been talking about. That Lovecraft Country. He's definitely up and up on Lovecraft Country. We even talked
yeah,
about. I mentioned him getting him to pop in here with us one night and just talking shows and stuff, because he's big into the actually acting world. He knows Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg in Justice League and stuff, and he had when he was living in New York, he had the opportunity to meet him before he did Justice League. It was shortly before that,
yeah,
but it'd be cool to have him come and talk about some of the stuff. We can get on those topics later. When we definitely need a Lovecraft Country night when that show wraps up, man. That's been one of the coolest shows on TV. I really, really
yeah,
like it. And I'm excited to watch last night's episode when we hop off from here.
yeah. I still got to catch up on that myself. And speaking of people to get on here, I actually did hear back from Greg from the
Yeah,
Comic Book Fiend Club the other day, and he's totally down to jump on here and stuff like that. And
dude, that's fantastic.
yeah, yeah, they do a lot of good stuff. Greg's a really cool guy. He's local to Augusta. Always saw him up there on New Comic Day at Augusta Book Exchange, and there's always a running joke that Greg and I have because you're forever going to see him with a Monster Energy drink, and he actually when we were at Heroes Con. He spilled his energy drink on my buddy Nick's comics that he just got signed by Scotty Young. So any opportunity I get, I'm like, you need to get like 20 months. So always giving him heck for that. So he's a good guy. Takes it in stride.
Yeah. Yeah, I've ran into him a good handful of times at the book exchange, and he's always one of the friendliest guys, and he's definitely always excited and ready to talk about the books he's got in his hand and anything else, man. I
Oh
would
yeah,
really be cool to get him on here and talk about the club that he's in and what all they do and that kind of stuff.
for sure.
Very unique. That
Yeah,
comic book fiend club is really cool.
definitely.
Another big thing that happened this past week with the with COVID-19 running at full steam, conventions have been running at zero steam. So the Hasbro Toys and Hasbro Pulse, their division that does the collectibles that the grown kids like myself like to look at and like to think about collecting and owning all of, but for space limitations and the insane rate that they produce amazing stuff, you just kind of got to pick your battles. But they had their Hasbro Con, which was done very much like Fandom on a lot smaller scale, and they did a lot of rollouts of upcoming stuff. They had pre-orders releasing. They had stuff that was actually becoming available as of that date. But they had a couple of really cool big things come out. And Brent showed me a few of them today. He sent me a few pictures. I'm gonna let him tell you about these guys.
Yeah, I actually just kind of came across them randomly, but it's a lot of the old school like 3 and 3/4 inch Marvel Legends figures. They actually come in a 2 pack for like $20. They got Captain America and I think Black Panther is the one that comes in that 2 pack. You have an Iron Man and God, I can't remember which one it is. Um, but then you also have Spider-Man and Electro in a 2 pack. It's very cool. It's got a very retro feel to it. I believe John Tyler Christopher did the artwork for the cards on these. And if you're familiar with any of the negative space variants that have come out over the last few years, he is the guy that does those. So yeah, just came across these kind of really cool old school figures to have. Like I said, Spider-Man comes with the with Electro, which is a really cool figure. That one and the Iron Man that they came out with has it's like the old school Iron Man suit. Still looks like very much like a wrestler outfit, but still Iron Man or whatever. So those are really cool. I thought about picking a couple up myself, but I really only want one or two of the figures, and you kind of have to buy the 2-pack to get them. So I'm probably going to hold off myself, but HasbroPulse.com has those for sale. Like I said, they're $20 for the 2-pack, and they have 3 different 2-packs released. So go check them out.
Those cards are amazing on them. There's beautiful artwork. It really is.
Yeah.
Mego just had their
Wave
8 figures finally come out, and then as soon as those Wave 8 figures finally shipped, they just released the 8-inch DC heroes of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and they're even exclusive to this store called Major, Meijer, and it almost looks like a Kmart, something that's only in the Midwest, very few stores, so people were really aggravated that it was limited. They're going to go to the secondary market to get them. I did all the Superman Megos, and the cards on them, because the 8-inch figures are carded, where the 14-inch ones are not. They just come in the window box. The 8-inch figures are actually carded. So the superhero ones is just a flat color with just the Superman S, or a flat gray with the Batman symbol. And Superman is wearing his classic, but on the back, the image they have is of New 52 Superman. And the same thing with Batman. He's wearing his classic suit, but on the back, it's the New 52 suit. So they put in no effort, no try, minimal effort. And the figures don't look bad at all, but the cards are just sad. So seeing Hasbro pulling out the stops like this, and getting an actual top tier artist to do the artwork for the card, opposed to just getting just this existing image. They're putting in the man hours, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, one thing I thought that was really cool about these is that for the people who collect these things and are really picky about it, the little hanger things that you would normally see in the top of the car, where they, in big stores, they would put them on the little hanger rack or whatever. Those aren't punched out. Like, you can see the outline of them on the card, but it's not punched out, much like that Superman first appearance figure that you have that you got from Carlos. It's not punched. It's definitely, it has it, but it's not punched out. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it has that really cool collectability aspect to it. It looks like it's meant to be up in a store, but it's been pressed, but it's not punched out. That was one really cool thing that I noticed about those cards that's just really cool attention to detail that Hasbro put in there that I thought was awesome.
Hasbro's on their game. I think, Haim Saban is one of the most interesting businessmen that have ever existed. And he's responsible for probably the most famous, highest grossing toys that ever existed when the first Power Rangers sold out. And I think, hands down, the Legacy series that they did is some of the most top-notch toys that have ever been made, collectibles from Bob. That being said, it was the smartest move, figure-wise, ever when he switched over to Hasbro, when the guy that he worked with for years, kind of over the decades went up in rank and promoted and came over to Hasbro. Haim Saban took his Power Rangers business over there with that guy he'd been working hand in hand in for years. Now they're pumping out amazingness after amazingness, and for the first time ever, they punched out a Pink Ranger figure with Catherine, who took over the role behind Kimberly Hart. And it's really cool because she even has metallic. It's not just bedazzled. In the actual show, they needed another power boost. This is before they got the crystals and went to Zero Rangers, and they actually had metallic shields they were able to throw on for a limited amount of time, and it was represented with that metallic shiner, that sparkle, the dazzle. So this figure is cool on a couple levels. It's the first metallic Pink Ranger I've seen. It's the first Catherine that I've seen. And the head sculpt is not even bad. You know, they have to stay a little bit away from getting too spot on to the likeness of characters due to contract reasons. It's the same thing with the comic book. They can't make them too much likeness of the characters without having to send out some extra checks to people. So this figure was
like how they did
all
with the Black
around
Ranger
really
figure.
Cool. They went overboard going way left on that one.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, Adam doesn't look right.
Oh man, yeah, it does have Adam's hair and it's supposed to be Zach's face on it.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah,
but I think the biggest reveal so far for me, of course, it's Power Rangers related, and they just showed another Green Ranger they're coming out with. A lot of people weren't happy with the first Hasbro Green Ranger they did because he had that like Gen 2 helmet that doesn't really appear in the show, where he has the white lines going over his helmet, which I don't mind. I think it's cool. Even Finn's little Imaginext gears, that go with his giant Megazord. That Green Ranger even has them. It adds a little flair to it. But so that came in a 2-pack with a putty some time ago. So we're finally getting a standalone Green Ranger. And so you have the regular Green Ranger helmet on it. He comes with the Sword of Darkness and the Dragon Dagger. The helmet sculpt is right to the original specs. And then the actual Tommy head is really cool because he has this green headband on and his hair is kind of back behind it. Kind of does look like he has duck face a little bit with his cheeks kind of sucked in a little bit, but overall it's a really cool figure. The accessories for these things are always tip top, and just kind of keeping that ball rolling when it comes to Tommy and accessories. They've completely outdone themselves in numerous ways with this Evo 3 Dragon.
It's got really multiple awesome helmets.
Figure. It is. It's got multiple helmets, including obviously the Evo 3 Dragon helmet. He's got the Red Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, the Green Ranger, the Pink Ranger. I don't think there's a blue or a black, and all of that come with him are all battle damaged. He comes with multiple weapons in there. He's got all this energy crackle, not only for him to stand on, but it can be put on his person or on his weapons. It comes in an awesome display box, so take it out if you want, if you don't. We thought it came with a Shattered Grid exclusive comic to this, but it turned out it was a poster. But most of all, it comes with a hefty price tag of $50, where the other figures you can get pre-sale on Hasbro, if they're still available, are about $24.99. This deluxe figure is double that. It's running $49.99.
Yeah, I think that's worth it though. The level of detail on
Absolutely.
That stuff, and with the electricity by itself. I know when we first saw it, I was like, oh man, it's got that like a Shattered Grid variant. I have to have it. And then like the day that they released it to the Hasbro Pulse Premier Club or whatever, exclusive club, whatever it is, I saw in the description that it was a poster. And I remember thinking, it was like, well, that's $50 I don't have to spend for a comic, because as much as I like this figure myself, I'm not much of a statue or figure collector. There are a couple that I have of like the Scarlet Spider, Riley version of Spider-Man from the 90s. I love that suit myself. I've got a Headlopper statue and a few Funko Pop figures myself, but I was this close to buying this figure just because, I mean, it's super awesome. Draken's been a big figure in the Power Ranger series through pretty much all the big events that they've had. And this kind of the cherry on top as far as that goes. But the level of detail on this, the battle damaged helmets and all that stuff is super cool. And I want to say, if I can see correctly, it's actually of the Rangers that he took the power coins from in the series, minus the Pink Ranger helmet. obviously being under Hull. So
And the Blue Ranger's not there. You know, the Black Ranger's not there, and his coin went into the diffuser.
oh yeah, that's right. He didn't get the blue power coin because that was the relic that everybody was trying to defend in Shattered Grid.
Mm-hmm. So like you said, the detail in it is just amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine should be here sometime next week.
Awesome.
I'm planning on doing an unboxing of that. I had to, because when it comes to, I don't really get into the modern figures when it comes to collecting stuff. I like the vintage stuff. I've really had to narrow down the stuff I get. Like, as you know, I've got totes and totes of toys from my childhood, like Marvel Legends from Series 1 all the way up through years of Marvel Legends. Me, you, and Finn, we had an amazing night. Me, Brett, and Finn were just in my living room during the dining, pulling out totes and totes of figures from our childhood all the way up into early adulthood. Got like Gold Figure, Galactus, and Apocalypse, and Sentinel, and all kinds of cool old stuff. But I've kind of narrowed down my collecting stuff to just Superman, not extended Superman, Superman, Hulk, and Tommy. I've got vintage Power Ranger stuff galore, but anything newer, I pretty much pass on. But this was just a great figure. I don't have anything Evo 3, and so I figured this would be. It comes displayable. I hate opening stuff. You know, when it comes to like Finn wanting to play with stuff, I end up just getting him his own. I've got two original Dragon Zords. One still mint in box, factory sealed still, and that's mine. And then I paid $50 for a loose one for Finn to have to beat up with Ninjor and stuff. And it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. He loves them.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's all the big Hasbro Pulse release stuff that I saw that I was excited for and that Brent pointed out to me. So there is a lot more cool stuff that they have on there. If you're a Transformers fan, if you're a My Little Pony fan, I know that sounds weird, but they mixed My Little Pony and Power Ranger, did a collaboration for a Pink Ranger My Little Pony.
Yeah, they're all for all the bronies out there.
Oh yeah. That's pretty much all that I had on the hit list for tonight that I know of. I'm definitely stoked to hit the store in the morning, and we both have that 1 in 25 3 Joker variant waiting on us. That way we don't have to chase one down.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to pick up that Captain Carrot variant for Multiverse's End. It's a cool cover.
Yeah.
I just really don't need it. I want it so bad, but I just don't need it.
Yeah, shout out to Paul at Augusta Book Exchange for always looking out for us. Again, you know, that's a shop that we've gone to since we were 7 and 8 years old, and you know, he always has just the stuff that's always a little more sought after. He'll 9 times out of 10 he'll give you, you know, he sells for a good price or even cover price. I know we've talked before about the 1 in 25 variant for the Legends of the Dark Knight. There was an order mishap, and Paul ended up getting 5 of those. And on release day, those things were going for $200-250. And, you know, Paul being the comic purist he is, Mark and I were able to score one of those each for $5.99 cover price from Book Exchange. He's, you know, always looking out for us. So excited to get that 1 in 25 3 Jokers from over there as well, instead of trying to track it down on eBay or anywhere else.
And you kind of had a little audio hiccup, but yeah, he said 25 copies. He received 25 copies of this $200 plus book, and instead of going the route that a lot of people would take, and even online comic groups that we've seen discussions in, how other shop owners talk about it, they wouldn't have even dreamt of just taking care of his local community. You know, even spoke with a guy online who was from North Carolina, who when I told him it, and I showed him my receipt and everything, and he actually drove 4 hours in one direction to go pick up a copy for cover price because
Yeah.
he called the shop and Paul told him, well, I'm not going to ship any out. I'm just going to sell them here local. There's a lot of people that do business here, and I want to give them first grabs at it. If you want to come get one, you're more than welcome to. And the guy was able to come down here and grab one. So that book ends
Yeah.
up being something that has legs down the road. You know, he did a huge solid for people that are out of town, you know.
For sure. Yeah.
He really is a great guy. Like Brent said, my dad's been shopping with that store since it began. Like he was instrumental in it getting comics, and it's just been part of our lives since we even knew. It's just really, really cool to have a store that's been around for that long, still chugging along doing it. You know, they're watching generations of shoppers come through. It's really cool thinking about it like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got my my 1 in 25 sent off to CGC through one of the local shops down here. So excited to get that back. I'm pretty sure it's you know, definitely a 9/8 contender, and when that comes in, it'll probably be beginning of October when it does. So I'll definitely be showing that off on the channel whenever we get it back.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm going to have to get mine to you to send in because we have
For sure.
CBCS access here locally, and yeah, I don't see myself getting rid of that book, but there's certain books that I'd rather have CGC'd over CBCS. I don't know really how to explain it. I mean, I just like the cases better for CGC. We've talked about this. I just like everything about the cases I like better, and knowing that CBCS kind of have higher quality cases. They're supposedly supposed to be more durable, last longer, whatever. But I still just like the way that CGC ones present better. And you know, like my Savage She-Hulk #1, I'm gonna have to get that one to you to get CGC. So I'm just gonna end up getting a little stack of books together that I've got a laundry list of stuff that I'd like to get graded. I don't really aim for just the any book kind of grade thing. I see on other channels and stuff where people are just kind of just grabbing new randoms off the rack and talking about, yeah, like they want to send this one in to get slabbed. There's really no necessity to do anything with it other than put it in a standard bag and board, you know, like. But I'm just trying to get those books that I actually would want to be preserved, you know, for the fact that they already should be, or that they have great potential to be, or, you know, I don't really sell anything, but I still feel like if it has huge resale potential, it probably should be, because, you know, God only knows what the future holds and what could happen. You know, you fall on hard times, and that's something that you can fall back on and then spend time in the future rebuilding. But I definitely would want to send that one to CGC. CBCS just doesn't have the same resale value that CGC does.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because, like, you know, they are a little bit more critical with their books. I just think that CGC just that clout from being around forever.
Yeah, they definitely are more critical. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's one that I want to be cracking and sending to you. I definitely need you to check on the cleaning and pressing services, what they charge and how their shipments out for that. I've currently got 3 books getting cleaned and pressed with CBCS, which I'm very confident with theirs being the history with the paper industry and the actual cleaning and pressing stuff. Like I can't think of a more qualified company to handle high-end stuff like that and actually perform those services. And I've got that new Teen Titans #2 First Deathstroke with them. I've got
I'm excited to see
Secret Wars #8.
As.
Yeah, definitely. And then because you saw that book, it was in weird shape. I don't want to just say rough shape. It was in weird shape.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, just looking at it, it was probably like around I don't know, I would say a 3. Like I mean, there's no tears on it or nothing like that. It was just in weird shape. And I've got my Secret Wars #8 newsstand edition.
Yeah, the spine roll was different.
It was. And the coloring on it, like we both thought, like when we first looked at it, we could have sworn that it had staple rust on it. But when you actually get down and look at it, Not at
Yeah.
all. It somehow appears to have like it had it, but it wasn't actually on the staple. It was weird. So if it comes
Yeah.
back and I find out those staples had been replaced at any point, which the staples did not look new, I'm going to
Right.
be a little upset. But and then I've got the one I'm
Get that
most excited about. Yeah, I'm
restoration.
not better not get no restoration on it. The one I'm most excited about is that Ghost Rider issue 1. That one
Yeah.
right there. I sent that off, and you can see the top right over the T where it looked like it had been crinkled over the years. The book overall isn't in bad shape, but it's a good. I really couldn't assign a number
Yeah.
to it, but it's good. But I'm stoked about that one coming back. That's like Ghost Rider. It's my favorite outfit for him. Ghost Rider's super cool, and that's actually also the first appearance of Hellstrom in there. So it's kind of a.
Nice.
I really don't think this show's going to take off and do anything, man. I think the show's going to be a total flop. I'm just wondering why they even went forward with it after they
Yeah.
canceled their
A
other
lot of
Hulu
the,
properties at the last minute.
well, I think they're going to be doing a Strider character. If you've watched Agents of Shield, they had the Robbie Reyes version of the character in that show for a little while. It was like
No, I mean
season 3 or 4,
Hellstrom.
I
I think
think. Which
Hellstrom's going to
I
be
know
a
I've talked to you.
flop.
Oh no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is I think that they may be using this show to sort of introduce the Ghost Rider again into whatever NC universe. But yeah, I can definitely attest to the stuff Hulu has not really been that big of a hit. Like Runaways, to me, I had no, like, I watched it, but it was like on in the background. Like it just wasn't even for like a more teen centric show, it was not that great. At least I don't. It didn't appeal to me. Not even from the teenager aspect of it, but just from just watching it aspect. I powered through it just because I enjoyed the first season a little bit, but at 2 and 3 were just eh. So I think that may be Disney trying to capitalize on purchasing Hulu and maybe getting a little bit of more money out of it. But I
They
could
canceled
definitely
the
see
new
them.
Warriors show, right? Like, didn't they have a new Warriors show lined up for Hulu that they canned? I remember them having
I
a new
think so,
Warriors
yeah.
and something
And
else.
there was a like an X-Men type show that they had on Fox that they were doing for a little while that ended up not taking
Legion.
off. No, Legion. Oh man, that was I don't even. This one had the putting Legion on the side for a second, but this one had. I don't know if you watched True Blood, but the lead actor that
Mm-hmm.
played Bill in True Blood was actually in this show. Again, even think of the name of it, but it had to do with mutants, not necessarily X-Men per se, but mutants in general. Legion, holy crap, that was a phenomenal TV show. Um, I can't remember the Dan. I can't remember the actor's name who played Legion, but man, that was phenomenal. Season 3 kind of got away from me a little bit, but the first two, I mean, not saying that it was bad by any means, it just didn't really live up to seasons 1 and 2. That show was phenomenal. That one was on FX as well. But it is on, you can't watch on Hulu. But they did a really, really awesome job on that show. The third season was actually, sort of an unprecedented thing, how DC is really protective of like the Batman character, and you don't really see him pop up in anything outside of movies. But the third season of Legion actually had Professor X like front and center before he really became Professor X back in the day with him meeting Amal Farouk and kind of having their battle on the astral plane and all that stuff, and sort of cementing David Haller's future as being haunted by Farouk, at least in the TV show. But it was really cool to see a very much younger version of Charles Xavier in the TV show as well. So that was really cool how they kind of, said, you know what, we're going to do it. We're going to go full on with Professor X, and, really pulled it out.
Yeah, I never watched Legion. I watched a good bit of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I watched the Agent Carter series. And I saw the first half of the season with Ghost Rider when they first introduced him. I didn't catch the latter half of that season, but I was watching that with Dad. I saw like when Ward came back as a bad guy, and they had that weird other dimension, or not Hydra, but that weird.
Oh, the framework.
I don't remember, man. They had
yeah.
They had the whole Inhumans thing go down, and the dude who was the big, had like the dreadlocks, the big muscle guy who was like purple with the dreadlocks.
Oh, yeah.
In the first little part of it, making him out to be some big deal villain, and he kind of just went away. And I don't know what I thought was cool. I think it was the season finale of season 1 or 2 when they were at that old fort in Puerto Rico. I've actually been there. That was cool seeing that in the show. But that old fort and that cemetery there is in a lot of different movies and stuff.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff. But yeah, it's getting late, man. We're about to hit 11 o'clock. We've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. So I think I'm about to roll it in. I'm going to fire up Lovecraft Country and go cuddle up on the couch with Abe. Me and my little wiener dog just watch some craziness.
Abe is a dog.
Yeah. It's my main man with pots and pans. He's sleeping good now. Him and Finn were going at it for a while. He's the Sausage King of Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, if you're catching the tail end of this video, be sure to Hulk smash that like button and do a superhero landing on that subscribe button, and then ring that notification bell. When we hit the 50 sub mark, we are going to be doing a giveaway. And as you see at the bottom of the screen there, we're going to be doing a Peach Momoko Speed Metal 1 in 25 variant giveaway. Peach Momoko is a hot artist right now. Her stuff moves hands very frequently. And yeah, that book can be yours. Basically like a participation award. All you got to do is participate to win. That's it.
Yeah, make sure you hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, let us know what you're excited about picking up this week, what you're not excited about if you want to. Either way, we'd be more than happy to talk about it. If we're not reading something that you think is amazing, let us know. We'll start reading it.
Yeah.
We're big on suggestions. That's how, yeah.
Get some reviews going on here, a little bit of a discussion.
But other than that, guys, I hope y'all have a good week, and happy hunting. Y'all take it easy.
Later.